Thank you.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, here we go. 212, Department of Public Works. Paul?
Mr. Chairman, we have Brian White here for an appointment in the Public Works Department.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. I'm here for a recommendation to fill one of our openings. Please excuse our typo. We have it listed as a special motor equipment operator, but it's actually a mechanic position. So after conducting interviews for this position, I am recommending Mr. William Taft for this position, contingent on DOT physicals and other pre-employment requirements. Mr. Taft is a high school graduate of Shawshene Tech Automotive. Will went on to complete secondary schooling at Mass Bay Community College, where he earned an associate's degree in automotive technology. And after graduating, he went on to gain some experience at Sullivan Tire, and most recently, he's been with Lannon Chevrolet in Woburn for over 3 years. I believe Will's experience and skills make him an excellent candidate, and recommend his hiring.
Thank you, Brian. With Brian's recommendation, I wish to appoint William Taft to the position of mechanic in the Central Maintenance Division of the Department of Public Works, and ask that the board waive its 15-day waiting period.
So moved.
Second.
So moved, second. All approved?
Aye.
Opposed, against? 500.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is he here? Come on.
Good work.
All the best.
Thank you. Congratulations. Welcome aboard. Thank you so much. Congrats.
Brian, you're not going too far, are you?
No.
Okay, 213.
All right, so the next article is some recommendations, some housekeeping recommendations that I have proposed. To start off, we had some ideas for division name changes. We've been noticing some other towns following the same direction. One of them would be changing the name of Central Maintenance to Fleet Maintenance. I don't know when Central Maintenance started. I always thought of it as more of like a building maintenance title. I don't think a lot of people associate Central Maintenance with the actual maintenance of vehicles. So fleet maintenance is pretty common in direction that other towns are taking. And so I think it would help the public, residents, distinguish more clearly what the division does. The second name change would be our Buildings and Cemeteries Division to simply Cemeteries and Facilities. One of the drivers there is kind of having a buildings division and a separate buildings department. There's some confusion, so our Buildings and Cemeteries Division will at times get calls from people looking for for a building inspection and other various services that the Buildings Department provides. Likewise, or similar to fleet maintenance, facilities is a pretty common division title and amongst other towns for facilities maintenance. I can move into the vehicles unless you want to stop and
Board want to
discuss.
discuss that first before he moves on to the next part of the memo, or?
I think that's a very good idea. So we'll start on my right. Sarah, any questions about either one of those?
No questions. They make sense to me.
Okay. Michael?
No, both sound like they are more clear, and I like the changes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Nick?
I guess my only question, Brian, is in an effort to save lettering, would you shorten it further just to facilities division? Do you feel the need to have cemeteries call out specifically?
We get quite a few calls from for cemetery-related stuff. So I think we might, that might be something that might start confusing a lot of people. I think perhaps, if it's maybe more informal or like lettering on, say, like a vehicle, we might abbreviate it somewhat to, FAC or something. Like, I mean, obviously, like you said, that's a pretty long division name.
Yeah. Yeah, to that point, maybe facilities and cemeteries, as opposed to cemeteries and facilities. I mean, this is super semantic at this point, but just something to consider, I think.
Okay.
Jim?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No, Brian, I think these make very good sense, and I like when a new set of eyes comes into a position as such as DPW and can see things that need to be changed as things go forward. We got to change with the time. So I think it's a great idea.
Okay, I have no comments at all. Can we vote on this one and then
Yeah,
move
Mr.
to
Chairman,
that?
can you just clarify whether you're voting on facilities and cemeteries or cemeteries
Oh,
and facilities
okay.
as Nick had brought up?
I think the way it sounded to me was the board would rank exactly what's written here, cemeteries and facilities division. Unless someone else agrees with Nick, then we'll talk about that a little bit further. If anybody agrees with that, or,
I mean, I'm happy to take Brian's recommendation.
Okay.
I just wanted to call it out.
okay, all right. So, someone wants to make a motion on the two of them, fleet maintenance division and cemeteries and facilities division, name changes.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to change two division names, one from central maintenance to fleet maintenance division, and the second one from buildings and cemeteries to cemeteries and facilities division.
Okay,
Second.
we have a motion to second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, against, 500 for that. Okay, Mr. White, you're still up.
All right, so the next changes, we've gotten feedback over the years. So there's kind of a lot of things that go into this. One of the things, feedback over the years, has to do with kind of the lettering and the logo and the size of them that are on the vehicles. So we kind of went back based on that feedback and try to work with the local Jeff DeBone on trying to come up with a design. I think he assisted the police department with their new vehicle design, come up with a better bigger, bolder lettering that makes the vehicles really stand out. And so while we were going through that effort, we started looking at why we kind of had a little bit of differences in vehicle colors, and like engineering, our trucks were black. A lot of the administrative trucks were black, but once we moved into more of the working trucks, they were kind of green cab, yellow bodies. So on top of that, we have been experiencing ever since COVID long lead time orders for more for customized colors. So we've actually got, this memo was from July. At the time, we had only received 2 of 6 vehicles we had ordered the year from the year before. We've since received 2 more, but we still have two outstanding. And really what they're telling us is the main driver is the custom paint color. And if we wanted to go with black or white, which are standard colors, that there was some trucks that are just on the lot ready to go for availability. So that really drew our focus into possibly looking at a color change. And then on top of that, we spend about $1,000 to have the custom green painted on the trucks, and $2,500 approximately for the yellow bodies. So on top of long lead time, there's additional costs that we could save. Obviously, the large capital projects the town's facing, and we're trying to see where we can reduce costs. On top of that, as a heads up, there's kind of state regulations that are coming through that make it really difficult to purchase diesel engines starting January 1st. So, what we're going to be looking at doing is trying to probably reroute these possible savings into providing maintenance, additional maintenance on the vehicles so that we can get additional life on them before we have to try to figure out where to go with diesel engines. From a functionality standpoint, so I kind of proposed 3 different options that we were looking at. Our preference would be black on black. You know, when we load up the bed of a truck with asphalt, the first thing it does is just stain everything black. So black, a black bed is going to hide that quite a bit. The black, I mean, there's more my opinion, but if we were to transition to a new color scheme, I think going from more of like a darker color, like a green, to a black will be a little less noticeable as the fleet starts driving around versus if we went white. I think those might stick out a little bit more. But another reason would be for rust. So I included a couple of white cars from our fleet that have some rust on it. You can see, I mean, if you've ever had any white cars yourself, you'll see how rust shows through the white. So we think going with the black body, especially if we're going to try to extend the life out of these and get more years out of it, where rust might be more visible, black might hide that better. So option 1 and 2, option 1, black and black, is kind of our preference from a maintenance standpoint. However, both option 1 and 2 should address the lead time items and provide the cost savings. Option 3 would be to kind of keep the green cab body and switch the yellow dump body to a black body. Same rationale. I mean, it will help reduce some of the lead time, trying to paint the dump bodies yellow, but we'll still face a little bit of a extended lead time for the green, and again, we'll realize maybe part of the cost savings by going with one standard color.
Okay. We'll start with you, Jim.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I've never been a big fan of the green trucks. It just didn't appeal to me for some reason, but that, and then the white is definitely going to show dirt, damage, rust a lot more. So I think your preferred option actually makes a lot of sense, to me, at least to me. So I'm going to support the first option.
Thank you. Nick?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Brian, thanks for taking the time to lay this all out for us. Actually, opposite from Jim, I liked the green and yellow. I thought that it was a really distinct thing to see going around town, right? You knew it was a DPW truck. But that's my own personal preference. I get it. Of the 3 options you laid before us, I think I lean more toward the green black, but I'm happy to support the all black. My question, 2 questions. The first is the goal to keep the red and white pinstriping?
Yes, so the striping, I think, would be the same on all of it. It's kind of going to be truck by truck. As you can see with the green and black option 3, because of how the cab is shaped and how the other, I think the main focus is trying to get Burlington and Town Seal big enough, and the lettering of the truck so it's identifiable. So sometimes, and every year the trucks change the design, so we would try to stay consistent with that stripe, but there may be times where the stripe just doesn't look right or fit with everything else.
As long as it's consistent, that's the biggest thing. I agree with Jim. I think the white is going to be a mess, and it looks almost like the example of the white truck here looks almost too close to a fire vehicle. In terms of lettering the truck, obviously Burlington Seal, Public Works. I've seen a couple of examples, we've got highway, so somewhere on the side of the truck we're going to have the division name on the truck.
Yep, that's the intent. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, this is great. If folks start leaning all black, I'm in. Yeah, that's all, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Brian, I applaud your efforts to look at the cost savings here. You could paint them purple for all I care, as long as I'd be for the cheapest version, and that seems to be the black, which always is my favorite color anyway, so it looks sharp. And I hope more of our departments can look into finding ways where we can save a few bucks here and there, so thank you for the effort.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Sir?
Yep, I agree with my fellow board members. Anything that can save money, time, in terms of lead time, and be more functional in terms of rusting and staining, I'm all for it. And I chose my outfit based on I'm for the black with the red details. The only thing that gave me pause a little bit was, does it look too much like Woburn DPW vehicles?
Well, so I'm not exactly sure which direction Woburn's going, so they still have some that are orange, which is, I think, is Paul's preference, but orange and I think black. But yeah, some of theirs are going black. We're hearing from other towns is they're kind of going the same direction. I think Bill Ricker started ordering some black vehicles, again, because of the lead time and then the maintenance of rust touch-ups. It's just when you try to touch up black paint with black paint, it's easier to go versus trying to find a gem green. So, yeah, I mean, it's certainly possible if we're all facing the same things that more towns might be going in these two directions.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's not a big enough concern for me to like be against it, but that was just something that kind of popped out at me. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I got to disagree with you. I hate to do it, but that man over there is the Woburn guy. Let's face it, he's all about black and orange. Until he sits in this room and he gets his paycheck, then he's about the red and white. But Mr. Sagarino, on the other hand, he's got those Everett colors going on. So that's about the only thing I'm going to disagree with. But I do agree with all the board members here. Right, Johnny? How do you do the woo thing? What is it there?
Not in this room, sir.
So anyway, yes, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to point out to the board that there's no intention to go and paint the green trucks, whatever direction the board goes in. We're going to, for us folks that have the OCD, it's going to bother us for a little while to have inconsistent colors in the department, but eventually we'll outrun that and we'll have a fleet where all the trucks match. But we don't intend on incurring the extra costs to paint the green trucks at this point.
Fantastic, great. Okay, so we'll vote on this now. If somebody wants to make a motion on it, what the color scheme will be. Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion that we approve option 1, the black and black vehicle design for DPW as presented.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, against? 500. Great job, Brian. Great
Thank you.
job. Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too. Okay, I see Amy's here, so we can go 214. I believe that's you. I think that's you, right?
This is me.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Paul, you want to start out, or Amy can go right away?
I'm just going to introduce Amy.
Okay, there you go.
Well, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. He already introduced you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you for having me or allowing me to come. Just wanted to, first thing is that I need to have you all sign the warrant for the November election so that we can get that posted in a timely manner. That's always what's required for the select board to do that. And then the other thing is I also just want to bring forward to you, and if you can take a vote on it, it just kind of solidifies it and is something I can send to the Secretary of State's office, is that we will start early voting on October 19th, which is a Saturday. We're required by the regulations now to be open on the weekend for at least 6 hours. I can split it between 2 days, but I tend to put it all on Saturday. So the 19th will be from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., and then we will have early voting for the next 2 weeks during regular business hours, and that will be up here in the main hearing room. The other day that outside of regular business hours will be Saturday, October 26th, which is the last day to register to vote, and we will be open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on that day in up here as well as in the office for voter registration. And that's kind of in what revolves around the election for us this year in terms of early voting, and the day of, which is November 5th, we will be open from 6 a.m. until 8 p.m. for that day. The other thing going along with all of the regulations and everything is the vote by mail. We just completed on Friday sending out 5,789 ballots, which were requested vote by mails. And then today we had another 180 that went out. But one of the things I want to mention is due to circumstances, we really needed some help, and I wanted to really thank the accounting office and the treasurer's office and the select board's office for pitching in. A number of people, Karen Cole in accounting, Jen Ryan, Rachel Lombardo, Sam Hockenberry, Matt Winslow, Kim Pickett, Lynn Mills, Susan McNerney, all helped out to be able to get those almost 6,000 ballots out on Friday, which once people start to hear that there's vote-by-mail ballots out, our phones tend to ring off the hook. So this just allowed us to get that out there, and now people are starting to return them. I also just thank Anna DeRosa and Andrea O'Shea for helping to get some postage paid onto the meter and that kind of stuff. It was just really a great, heartwarming for me effort that everybody kind of pitched in when we needed them, so I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions? Michael?
No questions, Mr. Chairman.
Nick?
No, I agree with Amy. It's fantastic to hear that everyone pitched in. This board thanks everyone for that level of effort to get something done. So that's fantastic to hear. And thank you to all the departments for letting those people help out.
Yeah.
So that's all, Mr. Chair.
Sarah?
Yes, I echo those sentiments. Thank you, Amy, and everybody here who helped with that. I did have one question on the Burlington Election 123 Quick Guide that's included in the backup.
Yeah.
For Friday, November 1st, early voting, it says 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Yeah. By law, we have to stay open that November 1st until 5 p.m.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's part of the regulation.
Past the 1 p.m.
So, yeah, so it's extra hours that our office has to be open.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I didn't know that. but
No, thanks, yeah.
very Interesting.
Thank you. Jim?
Thank you, Mr. Jim, just thank to all the staff that stepped up and helped out. I'm sure if another office in this building needed help, your office would step up and help as well, so
Yeah.
I have no problems with this at all.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so on that note, we will take a vote. If somebody would like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the election warrant, signing it, and the early voting as presented.
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 500.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amy.
Thanks,
Thank you, Amy.
Lynn, did everyone sign it? We're all good? Okay. Oh, let's see. 219, oh, sorry, Gary, you're here.
It's quite all right.
Oh, we got the whole staff. Wow, this is good. Paul?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight, we have our treasurer-collector Gary Giannino, as well as Anna DeRosa and Christine Sinicola to discuss the upcoming year's health insurance rates with the board. I'd like to thank them for all their efforts for managing this program year-round. We've had multiple meetings with our collective bargaining units to work through our health insurance results. As the board is aware, we're self-insured for health insurance, so all we're really trying to do is take the town's money and the employees' money, put it in a fund and pay the bills. So there's really not a lot of trickery to this. The numbers kind of are what the numbers are. So with that, I'll turn it over to Gary, and he can give his presentation.
Thank you, Paul. Good evening, members of the board. As Paul said, our benefits administrator, Christine Sinicola here, and Anna DeRosa, the deputy treasurer collector. We did meet with the bargaining groups, we called the Insurance Advisory Committee, over 3 meetings, probably started in July or August, June, and discussed different alternatives as we move forward. As Paul mentioned, we are self-insured. Over the last 4 years, the premiums averaged an increase of 2.6%. Our goal over the last 4 or 5 years has been to bring our insurance trust fund down, right-size it. It was, that was a request of I remember Bruce Morey, the town meeting member, my first year as treasurer, talked about our trust fund account, and over the last 4 years, we have done that. In keeping our premiums down has resulted in a reduction of the trust fund. We're looking at approximately $8.5 million of a investment fund, where we have some money with Rockland Trust, and we have working, I would call it liquid funds, of over about $1.5 million that fluctuates along a given month. Most health insurance policies for active employees, all of them are in fact 70-30, except for 9 individuals who have a Blue Cross plan at 50-50. Tonight, in the summary, talks about what we have been doing. I do want to talk about coverage. Also, our active employee health plans, we have had no changes over the given year. We did discuss quite a few possible changes, maybe changes in deductible, but I think Christine has done a very good job over the last, prior to my arrival, to right-size the policies to make sure we have the right deductibles in place. As far as the retiree Medicare plans, Christine's going to talk about one of the changes that happened just about 4 weeks ago when we received notice of it. And between our group, Anna, Christine, myself, and some of our advisors, we've had to make some quick changes. So, Christine, I'll turn it over to you.
So about a month ago, Point 32 Health notified us. And Point 32 Health is a collaboration of Harvard Pilgrim and Tufts. They joined forces probably about 2 or 3 years ago and have been slowly consolidating some of their products. About a year or 2 ago, they consolidated their non-Medicare plans to mainly to be under Harvard Pilgrim. We did foresee that probably in the future this would happen to their Medicare plans as well. So about a month ago, Point 32 Health did outreach to us to let us know that our Tufts Medicare supplement plan that's offered to our Medicare eligible retirees and their spouses was going to be combined into the Harvard Pilgrim Medicare Enhanced product. We are lucky that we already currently offer the Harvard Pilgrim Medicare Enhanced product, so it is a plan that's already in place. And also to some of the benefits under Tufts that were not under Harvard Pilgrim, such as a fitness reimbursement, hearing aid benefit, are also going to be offered under the Harvard Pilgrim. So Tufts will be changing in name for many of our members, but their benefits will be remaining the same, and Harvard Pilgrim members are going to reap some of the benefits that Tufts actually had as well. The big change under the plan, though, for those Tufts members will be a change in their prescription drug plan. They're going to be moving over to Aetna. So we have outreach to all the affected retirees in a mailing from the town first. We wanted to sort of get our word out first to them because we didn't want them to get a generic mailing from Tufts Health Plan saying, hey, your plan's terming. We wanted to make sure we were ahead of the game for them. So they have received that mailing probably sometime last week. And they have started to receive the mailing from Tufts Health Plan letting them know that their plan is no longer going to be available. What we will be doing is rolling everyone in from that Tufts Medicare Preferred Supplement Plan into the Harvard Medicare Enhanced Plan. They do have a choice to change if they'd like. So we are going to be offering a retiree meeting next Tuesday, October 15th, here in the Select Board room. In that mailing, we did let them know that they could be here in person, or we're also going to offer it virtually as well. And they will have the option to be able to also come to our health fair on October 30th to be able to discuss any changes that they would like to do. So we did want to try to be ahead of the game for them to make this transition. We do understand, too, that this is now going to be our highest priced option that many people are going to be rolled into, but we do believe that this is the best option for them at this point to be able to change. Many of those retirees do not live in the area, so they don't have the option to be more in a network, like a HMO type plan, like our Managed Blueprint plan offers. So this would be their option, I believe, that would be best for them. But we do believe that some people might want to change, and they will have that option and be able to speak to me both at any of the health fairs or in person as well here at Town Hall.
As we also discussed our plans and how we can promote them, I know we had a rather a few fruitful discussions, and Anna will discuss some of the things we're looking at moving forward to bring people, get people a little more knowledgeable.
Yeah, so the biggest thing for us was knowledge is power. And the more people know, the more that they can understand. So we've been working with our consultants, and we're going to have 2 additional, on top of the health fair and the retirement meeting, 2 additional time slots that employees can come. Probably one's going to be here and then one at the school. And we'll kind of get more involved with the HSA plan, because it is an option that I don't think a lot of people, we've decided, don't really know what it is and how they can save money. So it will be a good option for people that could probably get involved, and another way for them to save money. So
The health savings plan that we offered has been gaining in momentum, but we want to make a larger push to that. The premiums you see before you this evening, as I mentioned, over the last 4 years, averaged 2.6%. Presently, for this year, we're proposing an 8% increase in our active plans, and we control that since we're self-insured. We do believe, even with that increase, we'll reduce our health trust fund probably between $500 to another $1 million. And that all depends where we get for returns. But in that agreement for the existing plans, the HSA plan we're recommending a 4% increase on that. If I take the 5-year average of our HMO plans, which is Blue Cross, HMO Blue, Harvard Pilgrim plans, that average with the 8% average is 3.7%. I would doubt that many or any plans over the last 5 years can talk about a average increase like that. A lot of people have had double-digit increases along the way. As far as if you take the 5-year average for the Harvard Health Savings Account plan, average 1.2%, which is far below, again, the average out there. So as far as the Medicare plans for the retirees, we don't set those rates. Those are set by the carrier. And as Christine alluded to, there have been some changes, basically in the maximum amount that an individual would spend for prescription drugs, otherwise known as RX. It reduced maximum down from $8,000 to $2,000. For the individuals, that means it pushed over to the insurance companies, and you can see the increases in your packet have been larger than we have in the past, specifically the Blue Cross Managed Blue at 11.49%. We don't control those increases. Those are fully insured through an enhancement plans for the Medicare. So this evening, we're asking you to ratify and vote for the 8% increase for the Blue Care Elect PPO, the Blue Cross HMO Blue, and the Harvard Pilgrim Best Buy plan, which are active plans, and a 4% increase for the health savings account plan.
Okay, thank you. Mike?
Then I'm sorry.
Oh, you're not done?
No, I am. I just don't. We do have another vote coming for the retiree plans, the Medicare
Okay,
plans.
all right. Questions? Sarah?
I have just one. For the folks that you reached out to regarding the prescription plan changes, did you receive any feedback or questions about it?
No, I mean, mainly I think right now we're waiting for the formulary to see what the difference could possibly be for some of the retirees. So the copays are going to remain the same, which is good. It's just that maybe some of the drugs where they're classed within the different two different plans that they're coming from, might be some changes. They did do a formulary overview, I think, last year. They haven't done it this year yet, just because they haven't finalized 2025's formulary for the Aetna plan that they'll be changing to. And I believe it came out to like 97% match, like in the sense of like if someone moved from one plan to another. So I think we might see a little bit more of those things as people start to look up their drugs. I believe probably at the meeting, the people will probably come with those questions as well, and I'll probably get those phone calls once they can look at those. When they transition for these Part D plans, the prescription drug plans, the Part D through Medicare, they do allow a 30-day transitional. So say someone doesn't realize it, they go to fill it, and all of a sudden it gets denied. Because of this change, they're allowed a 30-day fill to work with their doctors to do any type of exceptions that need to be put in place for them as well.
Okay. That's good to know. And then, this may be a stupid question, but these changes, I get confused with like fiscal year and calendar year. These changes go into effect when?
January 1st.
January 1st.
Calendar.
Okay.
Correct, yeah.
That's all. Thank you.
Mike?
Thank you for all your work.
Thanks.
Seems like a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank all of you for your hard work on getting this done and presenting it to us tonight. And thank you for keeping the rates as reasonable as possible. I mean, in a vacuum, going from 4.5 to 8% seems like a lot, but if you look at, as Gary said, over 5 years, it hasn't really been that much. And anyone who has their own private health insurance has seen the rising costs. It's hitting everyone, so these really don't seem that bad overall. So thank you for all your hard work, and thank you for the information tonight. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Nick?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Obviously, I echo the sentiments of the fellow board members in saying the work that you guys do is just, we appreciate it so much. As my wife will tell you, I look at this stuff half the time if I start a job and my head goes sideways. I'm like, help track me through this as if I'm 5 years old. That's the best way I can understand it. So I guess like the biggest question I want to ask is, yes, over for the last 5 years, we've been fortunate to see a 3.5, said 3.5-ish,
3.6, I think.
3.6 average, right, across the 5 years, which is fantastic. I think that, employees, individuals are looking at it and going, from last year to this year, it's going up 4%, right? So my larger question is, taking a step back, right, do we think that there's going to be a general slowdown in the overall increases that we're seeing? 4%, kind of growing, or do we think that like this is an expectation to see in general insurance rates going forward for the next 5 years, is that there are going to be increases that we can anticipate?
Given the national picture of costs increasing dramatically, especially the pharmacy costs, it's all the matter of, since we're self-insured, it's a matter of our claims. And so it's difficult to forecast. We have seen probably since 2023, as COVID started to subside in 22, we saw some increase. 21, there wasn't much cost. But 23, we've seen some increases, and I would think alarming increases in our total claims. Either Christine would come in and say, we're over our allocation again, but you don't know what's going to happen. If someone has something quite serious happen, we can't judge that. We've taken into consideration our claims over the last, from 22, 23, 24, and try to formulate this plan. We talked about increases in the 9th percentile. The employee advisory group, we had a rather robust discussion about going to 8%. Someone said, "What would you do, Gary?" But is it going to happen next year? I can't tell you yes or no. Our hope would we be able to stabilize, but again, it all depends the amount of claims that come in. As people talk about the economy, interest rates from a revenue standpoint are going to start to decrease as there's a reduction in the Federal Reserve reduces that. And the flip side, you're earning less money also. So, and we're already seeing that in our banks, where we had we're earning 5.4% in one of our banks. That they're going down to 4.5 already, 4.65 that means some of that money we're holding is going to start to earn a little less. And we don't know what's going to happen. In the investment side, that has been gaining quite strongly. But again, as the economy changes, we don't bank on, we haven't banked on that increase, but it's been welcome, so.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I would like to add that the education piece is really important because we did discuss, as people are educated, instead of going into an emergency room, you can go to an urgent care, helping those claims costs go down. So that is also our hope to kind of, with the education piece, to kind of help us save money in the future as well.
That's good context, thank you, I appreciate that. I guess if I may, a follow-up question.
Sure.
And Gary, please feel free to say, Nick, that's insane. Don't think like that. My question is...
We're expecting it.
Just say it now.
No, knowing that we're self-insured, right, and that we're working off a specific pool of employees, right, is it an insane proposition to find another local community that's also self-insured to increase the pool to help balance overall costs across a larger group?
There are groups that joined, different communities have joined, the Northwest.
West Suburban
West
is one.
Suburban group.
Yeah, Cape Cod.
They're not doing as well as we are. So
Fair.
I would not, and I would think Christine and Anna would agree, I would not recommend us looking to do something like that. We looked at some of our neighboring towns to see what they offered, what their premiums were, and we're right there, if not having very strong programs. We looked at the GIC, again, which is it's independent, but
Yeah, but there's a lot of groups that,
Right.
play a role in it.
some
so.
state,
And local.
right, local. And we, again, looked at our plans, and we feel comfortable with what we're offering. We don't think it's exorbitant, but they are good, strong plans. And the health savings account, I can't stress enough, or we can't stress enough, the potential savings to someone as contributions are made into that health savings account. That stays with you. It can grow. Each year, you can maximize your deposit, your contributions above what the town returns for your help with the deductible. Some people, they have flex spending accounts. If they have a health savings account, instead of putting the money in a flex spending account where you're responsible, where you have to spend that money or you lose it, the health savings account becomes yours. And even if you left the employment of the town of Burlington, it stays with you. And if you can grow that, and it's all pre-tax, you can grow that over a few years, you now have an investment which will help you with your health needs going forward. And it's a good program. And as Anna said, we want to make sure we educate people so they could see the benefits of that plan versus the historical HMO or Best Buy program. Go ahead.
The other thing too, when you join up with other groups, yes, it's great. You have a bigger pool of people. The risk sort of spreads out, but you also lose sort of bargaining power in the sense of controlling your benefits. So GIC has great benefits, but the cities and towns that are part of it have to go with that type of thing. Right. If you're looking at like a West Suburban or other groups, there are a lot more people that are coming to the table to say, well, I want this, I want that. At least we're able to sort of hone in for our area, which has a great, is a locale for many of the hospitals in the area that we can sort of, I don't say make our own rules, but we're able to sort of control our own destiny a little bit to be able to see what's going on out there. And because we've had such a healthy trust fund, we've been able to do that. But we do explore those options as well, because it does provide help at times, but I don't believe that that's the direction the town of Burlington should go right now.
No, that's fair and appreciated.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think the fact that we don't have a lot of questions is a testament or a reflection of the information you've provided. It's so easy to read. I did have that question about the managed blue going up 11.49%, but you answered that. The only other thing, will this need one or two votes? Because two groups.
I guess that's up to you. I guess it's up to you if you want to vote for all the rates all at once, or if you want to do it
Yeah, we did it
separately.
right.
So, it doesn't matter to us.
When I spoke, I just talked about the increase. We're looking for a vote for the increase of the, we call them the active plans. We can do them all at once. I can,
All right.
if it's the will of the board. What would you like,
Well, we're going to...
what would the chair like?
That's all you have?
Yep.
Mr. Denizio.
Well, I can't resist the urge to speak when asked. So I just wanted to make a point to, when Nick's question about trending and what can we expect, I think that if you were to ask any other group around here, any other town around here, they're more typically what our high increases are. Like now, we're talking about 8%. That is very typical in other places that are involved in Maya, which is a group that buys their insurance, they're premium-based, but they buy it collectively, so they have that buying power. They're very typically in the high single, double digits year over year.
Sure.
Consistently. So I just wanted to make a point that it's tough to forecast what we're going to be looking at, but that's still not going to be out of the ordinary for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. So, before we get into the voting aspect of it, Gary, I mean, what can we really say about this? The information that you gave us is fantastic, and we both know that people sitting to your side did a great job.
Correct,
So,
they did.
You've always taught me that the people around you make you look better.
Yes.
So, I can't, what can I say? Look at my board, right? We're all good. But anyway, would you like to vote on it all together?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll need a motion on it, Paul, anything?
I'll make a motion.
I think Gary wants to present on the retiree,
The retiree increases, yes.
Okay,
if you want to do the multi.
yeah, okay.
So we would request a vote, as I said, for the HMO, Blue Care Elect PPO of 8%, Blue Cross HMO Blue 8%, Harvard Pilgrim Best Buy 8%, Harvard Pilgrim Health Savings Account at 4%. Those are our active plans. For our Medicare plans, a increase for Blue Cross MedX of 4.86%, Blue Cross Managed Blue 11.49%, Harvard Medicare Enhanced actually a decrease of 1.84%, and I spelled it wrong. Tufts Preferred HMO, not Tufts, Preferred HMO, a 6.9% increase.
Okay, great. Any questions on that? No. I would take a motion at this point.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we approve the health insurance rates for 2025 as presented.
Okay, second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, 500. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Okay. We are on to citizens' time. Is there anybody in the room that would like to speak on citizens' time? See, nobody got their hand up. Do we have anybody online? No? No one online? Okay. We are done with citizens' time. 217, a public hearing. Would like to continue it?
Mr. Chairman, the petitioner would like to continue this public hearing.
Okay.
So if you could continue it to the date, Lynn?
21st.
October 21st, on or after 6 p.m. For this hearing. 33 Chestnut Ave.
Okay.
Chair will make a motion to continue the hearing for 33 Chestnut Ave to October 21st, on or after 6 p.m.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded, continue public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 500. 218, liquor license, King's Bowling, 52 Second Ave.
Mr. Chairman, I think Attorney Vaughn is here to present on this.
Okay.
Public hearing.
Yeah, right here. We're going to open the public hearing. A motion is needed to open that. So, can either approve it as written or read it into the records. Why don't we just approve it as written?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve the written notice as printed.
Okay.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Discuss the topic. Mr. Vaughn.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. For the record, Attorney Mark Vaughn with Reamer Bronstein here tonight representing Kings Bowl in connection with the application. I think it's pretty straightforward and paperwork is all in order, but in short, where Kings Bowl is looking to change a couple of their beneficial interest owners that are with the liquor license. Actually, over the past year, they had two of their ownership interest holders who passed away, Joe O'Donnell and Ed Sparks. So they have change of beneficial interest to bring in some new investors into the liquor license, and that's really all that's before you. So Pat Lyons, who I'm sure you're all familiar with, is staying on and will be the face of Kings in terms of the continued operation. There's no change in operations for Kings at all. It's really just a change in some of the investors that are in the business. So, but business would stay running and operating as it is today. So with me is Katina Corapines, who's a risk manager with Kings, should you have any other questions. But I think all the paperwork has been submitted in compliance with the ABCC requirements, and I know after this it would go on to them to be reviewed as well.
Okay. Basically, this is just shuffling things around for Kings, right? So we'll start with Mr. Spaho. Any?
No issue, Mr. Chairman. Looks like everything's in order.
Sarah?
No issues, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Mr. Priest?
No questions from me.
Mr. Tigas?
I have nothing either.
Okay, it's a public hearing, so is there anybody here that would like to speak about this, or anybody online that would like to? It's a public hearing. I don't see anybody, so.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman, to close the public hearing.
Motion
Second.
made and seconded to close the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, against? 500. The public hearing is now closed. Need a vote. That's about it, really, right? That's all we need. So, someone wants to make a motion on this?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the change of ownership interest, officer directors, as outlined in our backup.
Okay.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 500 in favor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Lots, all
Thank
the
you.
best.
Thank you.
Okay, moving right along. 219, general licenses.
So you have two here and one online.
One here and one online.
Different
Okay.
ones. I don't know how you want to take them.
3 separate licenses, Mr. Chairman, so.
3 separate licenses?
Yep, take them whatever order you like.
Okay. Who do we got up first? Armand Delight.
Roma.
Roman, sorry, my bad. Said it wrong. Come on up. Have a seat, sir. You just introduce.
The attorney's online as well.
Yeah.
Okay. His attorney, your attorney's
Yeah,
online as
attorney's
well?
online,
Okay.
yeah.
So if you could just introduce yourself and give us a explanation about what's going on, what you're looking to do?
Yeah, so.
Fantastic.
Yep. Yeah, go ahead, Courtney.
Yep.
All right, yeah. Attorney Courtney Ball, Ball Law Office, and represent San Marie Delight, which is four members of a corporation here that down at 184 Cambridge Street. So we have a transfer of the Indian restaurant, and we're going to be approaching the board in 2 weeks for the ABCC alcohol, but tonight we just need to get approved for a common victual license. We have Sarjit Singh, he's the president of the corporation, and Madan Singh, I believe, I just lost the camera here, but that's Shahid is the prior owner, Mohammed Shahid Sheikh, and is the prior owner, the seller, essentially. Who do you have with you? Is that Madan?
No, Madan is not here.
Okay, that's Sarjit. Okay, so Sarjit will be, yeah, I'm sorry, I was just looking at myself, so. Sarjit's going to be running the restaurant, day-to-day operations, and, we look forward to serving up some good food down at 184. If there's any questions, happy to answer them, but it's a basic common victular application.
Okay. We'll start with Nick. Any questions?
No questions.
Jimmy?
None here, Mr. Chairman.
Mike?
No questions, Mr. Chairman.
Sarah?
I have no questions for the applicant. Everything looks fine online, what I saw. I do have a question for our administration. I know back in May or June, we approved some increases to licenses. When do those take effect?
January 1.
January 1st? Yeah. Okay. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. On that, I will, no comments or questions from me, so motion? We'll do them all separately, so.
If I can talk. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the new victualer's license for Aroma Delight.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 5-0-0. There you go. You're all set. Good luck.
Thank you so much, sir. Yeah, appreciate it.
All the best.
Yep.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night. Thank you.
Lux Black Diamond will be up next. Yes. What? Did I do something? Okay. I saw your hand go up. I'm like, you already yelled at me once.
Flat enough play.
Sir, introduce yourself and explain to us what you're doing.
My name is Sebastian Angel. I'm the owner of the company. It's a sole proprietor company. It's an escort company. So we're providing livery services in a great area of Boston. And we're located in Lord Byron, which is essentially I'm parking my car. So we are asking for a permit to do that.
Okay. Start with Mike. You're looking at me. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You just have the one vehicle, right?
I have one vehicle that I drive with my wife. I have another two, but the drivers, they park on their own town. So I rent a car and they park it on their houses.
Okay. No other issues, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Sarah?
And thank you, Mr. Chairman. How many drivers do you have?
3.
And maybe not a question for you, maybe again a question for town admin. Are we required to collect the licenses of all the drivers?
If it's approved, they now have to go to the police station, and Nico Salidas runs all quarries and collects all their information.
Okay, so we don't require that at this stage, but that
Yeah,
will
we were
happen.
both plugging into the scene like it was worth it, because he'll give the final say.
Okay, and then another question I had was, we do background checks and queries for these independent
Police
livery?
department does, yes.
Okay. That's all, everything looked good to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jimmy?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You said this is at Lord Byron. Did that need any special permission from the landlord or the property manager?
They have a limit of 2 cars per apartment. And I have discussed this with the manager. He has like an area for visitors. In case I need an extra space, he will provide it for a temporary time. And in case I need it for a longer time, I think he's going to charge for the space.
The only reason I brought that up is about a year and a half ago, we had a problem with trucks on A and B Street, and the drivers were living at Lord Byron, and that became a problem. So I just want to make sure we're not going to even get close to that again, because that's somewhat of a logistical nightmare that we had to resolve. But as long as Lord Byron's okay with it, then I'm okay with it then.
Yeah, Mr. Kevin, which is the manager, he's okay with it.
Okay. All set.
Nick?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No questions, but I do want to circle back to a comment I've made once or twice before regarding, livery licenses that we give out. I think that soon we should, as a board, sit down and discuss what we think either a larger policy or strategy is around our approval of livery licenses. I feel like in the last couple of years alone, we've approved a fair number of these. And while I have no problem approving it, I think that, we're going to start seeing smaller businesses kind of pop up and parking at their residential establishments. And I think that could become a growing problem if we don't at least take a look at it and understand what it looks like and if there's any sense of, for lack of a better term, control around how many we might allow at a given time. So just maybe for our next strategic planning meeting, we can start that discussion, but I have no problems with this particular one this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, can I just have a follow-up on that point?
Go ahead.
Do we know how many livery licenses we have in town?
If these two are approved, this is only the fourth one. I think Nick is confusing these with Class 2.
With what?
Class 2 licenses.
Oh, maybe I am.
Yeah, because this will only be the
Fourth
one.
in total? Okay. How many Class 2s do we have? Do you know off the top of your head? A lot more.
Not,
Okay.
not 4.
All right.
I don't know the exact number.
Then I thoroughly am confusing the two, but my statement still stands. We should talk about it.
Maybe something for the November meeting.
Yeah.
Strategic plan.
You all set?
All set.
Okay, I had the same concern as Mr. Tigas about the parking on A and B Street, because it was terrible for us over there with all the business owners. They were parking trucks over there and all kinds of stuff. So as long as you have an agreement with the Lord Baron to park on their property, not A and B Street, then I don't
We have the
have...
no parking signs down there,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, at the
Yeah.
board's request, so.
Right, yeah, we did put those in there, so yes, Lynn, you...
We did have some of them upload letters, so we can have him additionally add an uploaded letter from his management company.
Fantastic, thank you. That's fantastic. So, that being said, I'll need a motion on this.
I'll make a motion to approve the new livery license, GL-24-10 for Lux Black Diamond.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 500. Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks
Good
so
luck.
much.
New livery, yep, Safari Transportation. Oh, there we go. Right
Good
ahead,
evening.
sir.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman.
Good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, madam. My name is Wilfred Tumsimi. I'm the owner of Safari Transportation, asking for approval for livery permit.
Okay.
Same, he already has a letter. His letter's already been uploaded from Farms Drive.
Okay.
We've already discussed it with building department. So,
He's all set?
yeah.
He's all set, okay. So we'll just go right through the... Sarah, any questions?
Sure, thank you, Mr. Chair. How many vehicles?
One vehicle.
One and one driver?
Yes, please.
Okay. That's all, no other questions.
Okay. Mike?
Sarah took my question. No questions, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Mr. Priest?
No questions, sir.
Mr. Morandi, no questions. It's pretty easy done. How's that? So at this point, I'll need a motion.
Make a motion, Mr. Chairman, to approve the new livery license for Safari Transportation, GL-24-17.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0. What do I give him? Abstain? Nothing? We get nothing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, we voted yes for you. 20.
Twice, I hope.
Mr. Sagarino.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I added this onto the agenda for the board. As you know, we just concluded a very successful three-night September town meeting. There was quite a bit of discussion, but the new elementary school at the Fox Hill was overwhelmingly approved by town meeting. And we also, as you know, in May, we also had an overwhelming approval for a new police station. So around the time we started talking about these projects, it was determined that the projects could move forward without a debt exclusion now, but it might be a wise decision for the town to seek a debt exclusion from the voters in the April general election next April. So very brief agenda item, but I just wanted to know how the board would like to go about having that discussion in the upcoming months, what information you would like to see. It's a select board vote to put a debt exclusion on the ballot. So I just want to know how you would like us to proceed in terms of providing you with information to make that decision as we move forward. It's actually a 4/5 vote on a debt exclusion, so we need 4 out of 5 select board members on that.
Okay. We'll start with Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think it's a discussion and we should have had a year ago. At this point, the horse is out of the barn and the projects are underway, so I really wouldn't be in favor of trying to get a debt exclusion passed at this point for either project. I don't think it would pass. I don't think anyone would understand it. And I think it's too little too late at this point to discuss it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Priest.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think that we should discuss it. I'd like to know, Mr. Isla had a nice, or I believe Mr. Davison walked everyone through it, but Ways and Means had a nice kind of projection chart showing the dollar amounts of projects, those month over month against the tax levy, and how, even with everything that we were adding in, the police station and the Fox Hill School, it would still be below that tax levy amount, protecting us from the Prop 2.5 override. But I think that if we can look at those numbers, knowing that the schools are actively working on a plan for the high school and asking residents to move these two projects to a debt exclusion, perhaps that may be the best move financially at this point, knowing that a no vote on the debt exclusion from residents wouldn't stop either of these projects. It's just a matter of how the money hits the town overall in our operating budget, right? So I'd be in favor at this point of saying yes, debt exclusion to both of them, but I'd love to understand the numbers better, the projections that we're looking at across those two projects, and anything we have in relation to the high school at that point, so we can be better informed about what that all looks like. And then discuss that over I don't know when the submission is for the April election in terms of when we'd have to have this decision by. So, but.
We could get that from Amy, but
Okay.
we're well in advance of that time now, I would suggest.
Okay, but yeah, so assuming we have hopefully the rest of the year to have that conversation, take another meeting or two to have it, understand it, and then make a decision at that point. That's where I kind of am at. Thanks, Chairman.
Thank you. Jimmy?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this moment, I am in favor of going to debt exclusion. It's going to take a big education component of us to explain, or not to explain, but to let residents know. I think first of all, it's not going to be all this money all at once. It's going to go in stages for both projects. And if I remember correctly, I think, was it like $253 at the end? Is that's going to cost additional for both projects on the average household? John?
It was more like $350.
$350? All right. So either way, if it goes to debt exclusion or it doesn't go to debt exclusion, it's still going to be the same dollar amount. It's just where that money's, as Nick said, where that money's coming from. And by going to debt exclusion, it gives us that protection in the operating budget as opposed to having it within the operating budget and not giving us that protection. It's apples to apples. It's 350 versus 350. It's just a matter of where it is. And if it goes in one place, it protects the operating budget. If it doesn't go there, it doesn't go to the other place, it impacts the operating budget. So it's based on that. Right now, I'd be in favor of it right now. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Sarah?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to know more about what it looks like on the ballot, what the wording is. Are these being presented on the ballot together? Or will they be separate votes for the police station and Fox Hill?
I think there's separate votes, so it'll be like a menu situation. A voter could vote for either or both or none.
Okay, and are there financial numbers on the ballot? Is there information about how much?
Yes, I think it would reference the debt and maybe not the total, John. I think these ones, given that the projects have already been approved, I think what they're just doing is they're excluding the debt payments, the future debt payments from the Proposition 2.5 calculation.
So the number for school would be the total amount or just the amount that the town is on the hook for?
Just that we would just be excluding the amount that the town
So
paid that.
whatever, 70, whatever it was, okay. And then I would also like to know more about the, like Jimmy said, the education component of it, and how we're explaining to folks that, like, what this vote is. I think there's going to be a lot of confusion. I think people are going to think that they are voting for or against the police station or the school. And that's a huge hurdle that we're going to have to get over if we're actually agreeing with this. And I think that if people are, you know, going into it thinking that and then realizing, oh, these are happening no matter what, and this was passed without me even having any say, I think that there might be a sense that, sense of unfairness. And I don't necessarily think that that is the case, but again, like I said, there's an education component, and you know, we have to clear this up, make it super clear and simple. And I guess I just, you know, there's all these things that come up that I wish we had a communications director to, or communications specialist to help us craft a message in a way that is easy for people to understand, because even like us, we are in the weeds with this stuff and it's still confusing to some of us. I can't imagine just the average voter, you know, having any idea what any of this means. So before I would vote in favor of this, I need a lot more information about what that looks like. I'd also like to, I mean, we've heard, you know, a lot from Ways and Means, but other, you know, sort of financial experts in town, like Gary, Juling, even our accountant, on, you know, their thoughts about this. That would be good to know, both for us and for voters on this, just to sort of help us advocate for the best path forward. Other than that, I don't think I have any other questions. Thank you.
Okay. Mike, you had a follow-up?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, a follow-up for Paul or John. Ways and Means concocted a plan to come back in April already to do a debt exclusion, and they were going to combine the debt. But when we got to town meeting, they said they've scrapped that plan. When did that change happen, and what happened there?
John, I think it related to, at the time, a school project needs to go stand on its own on a ballot from the MSBA in order to get the MSBA. This is a little bit different in the fact that the project's already approved. It did not need a debt exclusion. So a debt exclusion is a tool that's always available to the town. So we completed the DPW facility several years ago. But if we decided that that was a negative impact on our budget, we could retroactively exclude those debt payments that we'd be paying for the next 20 years on the DPW project, which was completed several years ago. Board's brought up some great questions, and this evening, John and I were both in favor of a traditional debt exclusion in which both projects would have been required to go to the ballot. We had a town-wide discussion with our financial Ways and Means team, and they were correct in saying that, you know, the projects did not require a debt exclusion to be approved by town meeting, and we agreed with that. They've done some great work on the numbers, but as two folks who have been intimately involved in putting together budgets over the past 20 years, you know, we felt very strongly that the town would be in a better position if that debt was excluded at some point in the future. So, you know, based upon conservative estimates made by Ways and Means, you know, that could be 10 years out. So the town's done a great job of setting itself up financially. So we're not under the gun here to make a decision. But like I say, it would be a worthwhile discussion, I think, for the board to have. And what it will provide the town is budgeting flexibility in the future. As we go to prepare budget guidelines, as we go to prepare budgets in the future, it will provide the community some flexibility there. The last thing you want to have to do is have beautiful buildings and have to lay off the employees in between. And again, I'm not trying to be an alarmist here. Even by the conservative estimates, you know, any potential issues we could have would be 10, 12 years out. Barring anything drastic happening between now and then. But I definitely think it's a worthwhile discussion for us to engage in as to whether or not we should at least provide that option to the voters if they want to provide the town with budgetary flexibility in the future. If they do, great. If they don't, you know, we'll be fine either way. But as a budgeting tool, it's definitely something that, again, 10 years out is beyond my tenure. It's probably beyond John's tenure. I know it's beyond Superintendent Conti's tenure. But, you know, we always want to be cognizant of what position we're leaving future select boards, future town administrators, future school superintendents, what position we're going to leave them in. So for that reason, I think it'd be worthwhile for the board to at least have a consideration of whether to put that on the ballot. And I think the town will be fine either way, whatever that decision is, but we should have the discussion.
I think in an ideal world, excluding the debt would have been the way to go, but I think we're long past that, and I think it would be a fool's errand to try and do it now after the projects have been approved, because perception from the average voter, they're going to have no idea what's going on, and that would take a huge educational effort. People are going to say, why would I vote? They're going to think it's vote to raise their taxes on 2 projects that are already approved, and I just think it'd be a big waste of time. I mean, I'd love to would have had it on a debt exclusion, but I think at this point, it's too late, just my opinion. Thank you.
Okay. Everyone's all set? Okay.
So my understanding of how debt exclusions always works typically is that, you know, the town votes and it's sort of like dependent on that vote whether the project moves forward.
That's a traditional way of doing it, yes.
Have there been historically or any other communities that have taken the route that we're doing now?
I believe there has been, and again, it's that retroactively after something's been approved to go back and exclude that from the Proposition 2.5 calculation.
Okay.
I would say that it's much more common to do it the way you just described, where the project is contingent upon that vote. But that was not the path that was chosen either, so.
Okay, I would like to learn more about those past examples and those scenarios. And I can Google it, it's fine, but it's really hard to find things, like Google search, that kind of stuff. I don't even know how to phrase it in a way that that would come up. But if you guys know of any specific examples, because I have concerns.
It took a long time to understand it, and for the average voter, it's going to be really hard. It took a long time.
That's very valid. It will be very confusing, and the traditional path is very easy to explain. You vote for this up or down. This is a little bit trickier, and it's a little bit, will be more difficult to find the pros, the pro group, the con group, given that the projects have already passed. But again, I just think that it should be something that could be presented to the voters so they have the option to again, provide that flexibility or not provide that flexibility.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Okay. So my outtake on this is, I think it's a perfect opportunity for us to look at this, whether we go forward with the debt exclusion or not. I think it's a great opportunity for the town to understand what debt exclusion means, whether we decide to go it with a vote from the town. We have a high school coming up in a couple of years. I probably won't be here for that, but at least at this point here, a lot of people in town will completely understand what a debt exclusion is all about. A lot of people that will have the opportunity to vote on this issue. Right now, we're discussing this issue. We have board members that are in favor of it, board members that aren't in favor of it, which is a perfect scenario for us. I think it's, if we were to vote yes on everything all the time, it wouldn't be considered a very good board. I think the more information we have on this issue, on both sides of it, what the tax rate means, like Jimmy said, 350 is 350. However it works out, whatever we think, we bring it forward to the town and we move on from there. But I do believe that my personal opinion is, I think that this is a very good thing for us to look at, to understand, and get it out to the town so they can understand it. Whether or not it passes through, that's another whole story and another whole situation. But right now, I believe it's great for the town because we do. I don't know if any of us will be here for the high school at that time. We're still going to run, stay here, whatever. But the high school is coming. So I think it's a great idea. That's just my opinion. And this was all for discussion and nothing to be voted on.
That's correct.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. So anybody else would like to say anything about this issue? Mr. Denizio, Mr. Sagarino, anything?
I think everybody's comments are valid. It will be confusing. And there aren't any towns that are going to be able to build a high school with what they cost nowadays without a debt exclusion.
Yeah.
So if we're going to build a high school, we're going to have a debt exclusion. So I think everybody's comments are right on.
I just think it's a very, very good opportunity to educate.
One more thing to add, that debt exclusion is going to be contingent on the voters.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, it's a different scenario, so.
Fit it under the-
Right, exactly, which I understand. So again, it just complicates things even more when that's people's understanding of what a debt exclusion is. That these projects are happening no matter what. So I'm sorry to interrupt, but
No, don't worry.
it's apples and oranges. I mean, there's still debt exclusions, but the scenarios are different.
Yep.
So that's going to have to be explained.
Very good.
Okay. If there's nothing else, then we are going to go to the, I believe we are at closing time. Minutes. Anyone like to approve the minutes? Somebody? Anybody?
And assuming everyone's read them and there's no issues?
Well, I had one issue with the August 12th, which Lynn fixed and printed out for us.
Okay.
One vote that needed to be fixed.
All right.
But it looks good.
Then I'm happy to make a motion that we approve the minutes from our regular meeting on 8/12/2024 and 9/9/2024, as well as the 2 alcohol subcommittee minutes from 8/19/2024 and 9/9/2024.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 500. Subcommittees, let's start out with the James.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just one, Chamber of Commerce hosted their Taste of Burlington earlier this month. And according to the president, Rick Parker, it was their best event ever. It was sold out. They had 400 attendees. They had 24 restaurants, which is the max. You can't have more than 24 because of the logistics of the room. And they now have a wait list for next year, for the next Taste of Burlington. And a special thanks to all the restaurants and the sponsors that made the event possible, and to the Marriott Hotel for hosting the event.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I guess I'll start by saying I want to take a minute and thank our town meeting members, our moderator, Bill Byer, Amy, and her team, the sound engineer, the kids who run mics, and our town council for all of their effort to put on another town meeting over the past couple weeks. We wrapped up September's town meeting just last Monday. I want to thank town meeting for the discussion and the vote to have the voters decide whether the town clerk is going to be elected or appointed going forward. And Sarah, fantastic job on the presentation to bring that information to them. I want to thank the town meeting members for their questions, discussion, and eventual affirmative vote for our electronic sign proposal, which we'll be able to bring forward to the residents of Burlington, as well as some general bylaw shifts to our ISAC committee going forward. So all in all, I felt it was a strong September town meeting. A lot was accomplished, a lot was discussed, which is exactly what we hope to see in a body such as town meeting. For better or worse, you come away knowing a lot more than you did before. In terms of specific subcommittees, I had nothing new to report, but will in the coming months. So thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Sarah?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So for Council on Aging, I'm not sure if everybody heard, but there's a big announcement from Leahy Clinic. As of November 1st, they will be offering free parking for Burlington seniors, 60 and over. So that's at the main campus, 41 Mall Road and 31 Mall Road. You just need to show proof of residency, age, and your appointment to the desk for validation. So that's great news. There was a little gap in communication where people thought it was immediate. It's not. It's November 1st. So that's when that will take effect. For DPW, there's a few more weeks of water main flushing around town, a small water main project on Johnson Road and at Vinebrook as part of the decommission permit. Also wrapping up small sidewalk projects around town as well. For the Housing Partnership Committee, that committee has been inactive for some time just due to low membership. And so we are looking to pick up the affordable housing efforts in town through the Housing Partnership Committee. So we're going to start actively looking for people who are interested in being part of the committee and, furthering those efforts around affordable housing in Burlington. So more info to come on that, but if anybody has any interest or experience in that topic, please feel free to reach out to me and just keep your eye out for more info. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Michael?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, Sarah took the one I was going to say. It was one of two. The parking at Leahy. I just wanted to give thanks and kudos to the planning board. They've been pushing for this for a long time, even back when I was on the planning board, and I'm glad to see that it finally got done. They've stayed on it and were tenacious about it. So that's a great thing for the seniors. Anything we can do here in town to help the seniors with their expenses is a good thing. And kudos to IAB for putting on another great Diwali celebration a week ago yesterday. Seems to grow bigger and bigger every year. So vibrant, so colorful, everyone's in a great mood, and they did another great job, and I wanted to commend them and thank them for putting that on, such a great event every year on the Common. That's all I had, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. The chairman's report. Guess what I'm going to talk about?
Hunting.
Nope. I'm very happy seniors get a discount. I'm there. I get a discount. I'm happy again. But no, I will talk about the hunting real quick. It's open, so everyone just be ready. It's there. I can't thank this board enough for all they do and that goes on behind the scenes, and just want to say thank you to everybody. Mr. Sagarino.
I have nothing to report tonight.
Okay, great. So at that point, I will take a motion.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Someday someone's going to say no.
I was about to.